Hey Prestige family, Shihan here for another episode of What's Up Monday. 2 weeks left in the year. Holy moly, it is gone by quick. And as always, we've got a packed house of things for you today. So this is week 7. That means it is belt testing next week, which we're going to talk about a little bit later. But week 7, for the little dragons, our theme is fitness. So we're going to have our little dragons showing us those muscles and being able to do their exercises. So there's not a lot of equipment that they need. This week, you're just going to want a pool noodle or a soft sword or something, again, that you can kind of use for one of our games. And oh man, I got a super cool game for you guys. You're going to want a plate and, believe it or not, some Cheerios. Now, they don't need to be Cheerios, but you just want something that's kind of a small bite-sized snack. And this game is going to be absolutely awesome. You are going to want to record your child doing it because it's going to be so cool, I promise. For the kids program, 7 and older, it's review week. So we're going to be reviewing everything that we've covered the last 7 weeks to get them prepared for belt testing. This is especially helpful for our white belts and new students. For your first belt testing, it can be a little bit overwhelming, a little bit, we want them to be a little bit nervous, but we want them to be just as excited about belt testing coming up because it's going to be a great time, but we want to make sure that they're prepared. So we want to be able to talk about that process as well. Belt testing is a super important process in our system. So whenever you decide, without talking to me, that you're just not going to let your child test, you're actually doing more harm than good. In 25 years of teaching, I have found that a student that does not test and or promote is 80% less likely to test at the end of the next cycle. They just start to lose interest, they start to lose focus, they lose desire. It just seems too hard for them. 8 weeks to a child is an incredibly long time. To us adults, it just kind of zips right by, we don't think about it. But now if your child doesn't test and they have to wait another 8 weeks, that basically is a lifetime to them, and so it's easy to understand why they lose desire. So there's only an extreme circumstance when a child should not promote in belt rank. But more often than not, what I get is the parent has decided, well, they're not behaving as well as I want them to, or they're not trying as hard as I want them to, so I'm going to decide to punish them and not let them test. That is just kind of popping the balloon and creating a much, much bigger problem. If you don't think your child should test, let's have a conversation and figure it out. More often than not, there's a little switch in there, and I can give you a better solution on what we need to do to help get your child on the track that you're looking for. A lot of times it's just you're looking too far ahead. You know, a parent says, well, I want my 5-year-old to stand perfectly still and pay attention to virtual class 100% of the time. That's not going to happen at 5 years old, but we can put steps in place to get them started looking better and performing better. And by the time they're 7, then you're going to get that habit. So it's super important. Please, please, please make sure that your child tests. And if for any reason they're not promoting, right, let's have a conversation about it. Don't just make that decision on your own because you're undermining everything that we try to do here in the karate program. All right, so with that in mind, with the review week for the kids, you're getting your red stripe. Red stripe is actually done by your parents. We emailed out the belt registration form. So if you got that email, you filled it out. Then your child, second step is making sure you register for testing in the app. And then at that point, your child has earned their red stripe. Now, if you didn't get the email, that's not a problem. But basically what we do is I send it out several times over the next couple of days because not everybody receives the emails that we send out. So if you did not get it, don't panic. I'll send it out again. The exception to this is if you have 2 kids in the program. My system is only able to send an email for 1 child. So you can email me the answers to your second child. Please do not fill out the same form for both kids because it just overwrites your first answers and I won't see what your first child's answers were. So if you look at the email, it'll say this form is for, it'll have your child's name, and then any other forms for a second child will have to be emailed separately. It's not great, but unfortunately that's the technology that we have at this point. Yellow stripe. Yellow stripe is for that personal development milestones that we talked about at the beginning of the cycle. So, did your child reach their personal development milestone? If they did, great. Talk to them about what they did. How did they do it to get there? If they didn't, why? Why didn't you reach the goal? What happened? So we can course correct and make adjustments. The yellow stripe and the red stripe are for the 7 and older kids. So our little dragons don't have to worry about this. But Yellow Stripe personal development milestones are super important for our 7 and older to make sure that they're doing, working on, and achieving each belt cycle. We're going to be setting a new one next week at belt testing. All right, leadership training. Leadership team, we meet tonight right after class. We're going to be continuing our talk on the 7 habits of top performers in the world. What's going to make you one of the best leaders in the world with these habits? These are habits that most adults don't have. So I'm super excited to talk to you guys and start working on creating these habits in you guys at 8, 9, 10 years old, because that's going to make you phenomenal leaders as you become an adult. And number 4, our self-esteem, life skill. We're wrapping up, right? So each cycle, we do one life skill. Self-esteem, what we say, what we see, and what we do. People with high self-esteem see themselves as very confident and high self-esteem people. What we see, right, what we look for is what we get, and what do we do? How are we behaving? How do people with high self-esteem behave? What are some of the things that they do, right? We stand tall. We make good eye contact. We have strong voices when we speak. We don't mumble. We don't slouch, right? So what are some things that a black belt person with high self-esteem would do that your child is working on? And that's what we'll be wrapping up in class this cycle, which then brings us to belt testing. So even though belt testing is next week, because it does require planning, I want to spend some time on it with you guys today. Normally, belt testing is Monday or Tuesday, and then belt ceremony is Wednesday or Thursday. Because it's Christmas and we're running into Christmas Eve and it's a crazy, crazy time, what we're doing is we're going to do belt testing and belt ceremony immediately after. Monday or Tuesday. So then our last testing will be Tuesday, and then we'll be closed for the holiday to be able to recoup, enjoy family time, and get ready for the new year. So you do not need to attend both days. Pick Monday or Tuesday, and you're going to sign up for that day. We're going to do belt testing and belt ceremony right after. This is for all students. In my opinion, every student tests every 8 weeks forever. There is no exception for a child not to attend testing. And if you don't understand that, message me, let's have a conversation, and I'll explain that to you a little bit more in depth. So with that in mind, red stripe this week, yellow stripe this week, belt testing. Oh, again, why belt testing is important? We have to register for belt testing, and you need to order your child's belt. Normally you've got a couple of days in there that you might be able to receive the belt after testing. Not this time, we're gonna do it right after. So after you register for belt testing in the app, you also need to order your child's belt. And I didn't write it down, but this is the most common question. It's already coming in. What are the belt colors? White belts go to yellow, go to orange, to green, to purple, to blue, to red, to brown with a white stripe if necessary, or there's a black stripe if white stripe is out of stock, and then candidate belt. And then the colors repeat themselves from apprentice black belt to certified black belt. So if you're not sure, always ask, what color should I get next? I don't mind answering that question, but we're gonna beat the colors in. Your child should know if we've been working on belts. So all this week during review, we'll be talking about belt colors in class. But you need to get that belt ordered because it's gonna take 4 or 5 days, maybe longer with the holidays to get, and you're testing next Monday or Tuesday. So you wanna make sure that you take care of that. January, we'll be starting up a brand new cycle. We'll be working on discipline. So life skills going to be discipline, some new personal development milestones for our kids karate 7 and older, and we're going to start 2021 with our feet on the ground at a full sprint, because that is what we do as black belts. All right, so if you're just tuning in, whole bunch of stuff this week. We've got Little Dragons working on fitness. We've got review week for the kids, red stripe and yellow stripe. We've got leadership training working on the 7 habits, the life skill of self-esteem. Your child should have a general understanding of what we've been working on, that level 10 effort in class, and then belt testing and ceremony next Monday or Tuesday, both of those happening on the same day as opposed to separate days. So if you have any questions, as always, feel free to reach out. Everything is attached to my phone, so you can call, you can Facebook message, you can text message, you can email, and I will reply back to you guys. So let's get to it. I'm going to go get ready for classes today. We're going to have a super awesome Monday. Little Dragons, can't wait to see that brand new game, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Bye, everybody.